podcast is part of the Sports Social Podcast Network.
Hey, this is a quick note from Ed. Just to say this was Paul's last episode as a co-host of NQAT and Rankcast. 524 episodes, 11 years of chatting nonsense about United. There's been a lot of downtimes in that time, but the highlight was always talking to a friend for an hour each week and having you guys drop in on our conversation. I hope you enjoyed it. There'll be more from NQAT in the weeks and years ahead. It will be different, but I hope you enjoy it. But for now, thank you to Paul. It's been a pleasure.
Hello, everyone. This is weird. Norwich won. Norwich lost 1-0 to Man United. Man United beat Norwich 1-0.
Yes, get that right.
It's in the kind of game that makes a person really glad they're quitting their podcast.
I mean, I suppose you could just maybe you should flip it over another week until there's a great and famous victory for United.
Oh, yeah.
You're going out on Norwich 0, United 1, Ronaldo dodgy penalty.
I mean, in a nutshell, I can't think of anything better to go out on, to be honest, because it's like, yep, see ya. It wasn't a very entertaining game of football. I thought the first 25 minutes, United looked pretty all right, and there were a couple of passages of play with a bit of passing and moving, which kind of I messaged saying, I think you can maybe see a bit of the coaching going on, and then 20 minutes later, you and Tom absolutely piling in on me, going oh no, this is the worst it's ever been. Rangnick out, all that. Not really.
Yeah, not really. He's had more than the 45 minutes training session he had before his previous game, or whatever
but not
it was.
Much, right?
But not much, and I think it's not until sort of the Christmas period, with some irony, I suppose, that United actually have coincidence, not irony.
Right.
Some coincidence, United have a 9-day break between games after Newcastle and before Burnley or something like that. So he may get some time in. Unless he pulls an ollie and sends them all off on their hollybobs, and which he doesn't seem like the kind of guy to do that. Anyway, yes, United, not awesome yesterday. It was a little bit disjointed. I mean, they kept the ball pretty well, I thought, in that first half, without really creating much.
Did you not see the stat where Bruno and Marcus Rashford both gave the ball away over 30% of the time that they had it?
Well, that's standard for Bruno.
Yeah, absolutely. Rashford, I thought, you see these little flashes where he kind of takes on a player and does something really good and creates a bit of space, and then almost every time it kind of goes, he has not found his sea legs, as it were, again since coming back from injury.
He really has not. I mean, he's had 2 disrupted seasons, hasn't he? One with the back and then with the shoulder and the foot last year, and it's I think it's had an impact on his confidence. It definitely hasn't returned. The kind of directness that you expect from him was only half there. As you say, he was taking it on and then doing something awful at the end, or making the wrong pass, or the shooting wasn't there, or coming back on himself and running down the blind alley. So, the confidence didn't feel good at all. I did notice a few times that same against Rangnick's first game, where Ronaldo sort of ran himself into the ground, then decided to sub himself off with an injury. The sign of Ronaldo being tired is his first touch seems to go, and that happened a few times yesterday as well. It'd be interesting to see whether he's rotated at all over the next 3 weeks. There are quite a lot of games over the next 3 weeks, even if there is that sort of break in the middle. So he lost his touch a little bit a couple of times. Elsewhere, I'm trying to think if there's any standout. The fullbacks were okay again, not fourth game in a row that Alex Telles has started. I don't think he's disgraced himself. I don't think
Good free kick. Was it him? Is it him that hit the free kick just over?
Yeah. And trying to think what else about him. I mean, I'm not sure he's got the same ceiling that Luke Shaw had last season, but Luke Shaw hasn't got the same ceiling that Luke Shaw had last season. And
the problem with the problem with Luke Shaw isn't the ceiling, it's the basement.
Yes, that's right. Yeah. And then I don't think, Aaron Wan-Bissaka was awful in midweek against Young Boys. And Diogo Dalot's done fine in his games. I mean, look, if you're starting from a clean slate, which maybe they are with Rangnick in place, you wouldn't say Aaron Wan-Bissaka is, guaranteed a place by any means. At all.
No, in fact, you'd say he's going to have to fight really hard to win it back because it's not at the moment. It's Dalot's to lose,
right? And then in central defence, I think we're all looking forward to Rafael Varane coming back to add some class and assurance because Lindelof was all right yesterday. Maguire had a couple of moments where he hit the panic button when he had the ball at the back. He's lost confidence in terms of his passing because he's being targeted quite often, not so much by Norwich. But I guess the standout for United, at least defensively, was David De Gea, 5 saves.
Oh, incredible! A couple of them, like proper peak Dave, unbelievable. Like there's not really they hardly had a big XG chance, Norwich, but the post shot XG on the one that he palmed away to his right. That reaction save from a header was an incredible. There's just very, very few humans ever that have been able to do that. Right? He's in a kind of he is a sort of absolutely unique sports person, De Gea, and it's something that's made him, at periods one of the best goalkeepers in the world without any question. But it's also something that's forced his overall game down a road where, he's tried to play to his strengths, but his strengths are being superhuman. So when he is less than superhuman, it becomes a real problem. But this season, there's been a good amount of proper superhuman Dave, I would say.
They have, and only a few mistakes. So yeah. Although I think I haven't looked at it updated for the last couple of games, but he was below his expected goals against at some point, which seemed a bit counterintuitive. But anyway, he saved us yesterday for sure.
Yeah,
and Norwich had been on a half decent run since Dean Smith came in, and they certainly gave it a go. They didn't create an awful lot, but they are the bottom team, and I guess you'd expect United to beat them. Not that they really did enough to particularly deserve it.
No, so United, I just had a quick look at the XG, talking of which, and United's was much higher than I was expecting, and it's partly because there's this 0.66 chance in the 85th minute that Ronaldo had a missed shot on his left foot, which I can't even remember. Oh, I do remember. It's the one that he hit over, and it's a really good example of the XG model failing to take into account physics, because once again, Rashford played the pass slightly behind him, which he did all day. So I think if you just look at that as a left foot shot with that defensive situation from that type of pass creation, you're going to say this is a huge chance, but it absolutely wasn't a huge chance. It would have taken something quite special to score.
Yeah, that's right. In fact, there was a lot of off passing against Young Boys. There's no point spending any time on the Young Boys game at all,
except for the Mason Greenwood goal. Because, my God! My God!
See, that wasn't in a dissimilar position, really, was it? And Mason, because the ball went behind him, and somehow Mason improvised.
Yeah, he's like, well, I don't care if the ball's behind me. I'm going to hit the most absolutely, friend of the show, Awate, described it as atomic precision. It's absolute atomic precision. There's very rarely been a ball that's hit that far, that near to the inside of a post without hitting it. And the fact that it came from an overhead kick as well, or like a kind of sweeping volley from behind him, absolutely, that guy is unbelievable.
Yeah, he didn't start. He's missed a few games because he got COVID and he had to follow the protocols. Fortunately, no longer-term impact, unlike Dean Henderson, who kind of ruined the beginning of his season. So he's not played that much recently. He had the game time against Young Boys, which I guess he needed. Marcus Rashford probably could have done with that game time as well. I think who did Greenwood side up front with Elanga, didn't he, against Young Boys?
Yeah, it was. Yeah. There is a good amount of things to say about that Young Boys game. I know you were saying there's nothing to say about it, but I think it was actually a pretty there was a couple of massive things that happened in that game. So one was the Greenwood goal. The other was Rangnick clearly using this as an opportunity to blood young players in a Van Gaal-esque way, in a way that Solskjaer wasn't really. Partly that was possibly because of the bubble situation that he was operating in, and it was not so easy to just call players up from the under-23s. But Rangnick put a couple of players on the bench who ended up getting on. And there's something worth saying about this, because the first player of British South Asian heritage to ever play for Manchester United came on. And about 6 years ago, Adam McCullough made a documentary called Where Are All the Asian Players? And you can still find that on YouTube. It's a very good documentary, talks to some sociologists, some coaches, just to try and get a bit of an understanding. And we are seeing a generation coming through now. This is like the first wave of British South Asian players, coming through and playing in the Premier League. And not the very first ever, I don't mean, but just as a kind of like, you're starting to see, it's starting to be less rare, although if you look at the numbers, it's still crazy rare compared to the demographics. Yeah. But so BT Sport were covering the game, and the double substitution was made where he brought on Charlie Savage and Zidane Iqbal. And Robbie Savage was the co-commentator, and completely understandably, BT Sport made a huge fuss of this. Robbie Savage kind of called the action as Charlie Savage came on. It was a lovely moment. But and I've seen some anger about them doing this, and I think in some ways it seems very harsh to me to be angry about them for doing that part. It's the thing they didn't do that warrants a bit of like, do you think the first British Asian player to play for Manchester United warrants some attention?
Note. Yeah.
You know. But,
and it was covered elsewhere, but yeah, BT Sport missed it.
But not live. Not live on the telly as it happened, kind of thing. So
so he got a few minutes, Zidane Iqbal. I mean, I haven't seen a lot of him. People who watch the under-23s more than I do will know more. He the club. What do they call him? Uniquely talented or something like that. So
right.
So anyway, lots of people having lots of good things to say about him. Charlie Savage, as you said. I mean, we'll see if he's a nice bloke or a twat like his dad, but, we'll give him the benefit of the doubt for now.
I have to say, it is really funny that Robbie Savage's kid is in the academy and got some minutes for the first team, because Robbie Savage didn't get any minutes for the first team when he was in the academy. It's quite. But it was. Listen, Robbie Savage is who he is, but it was really moving to hear a parent talk about their kid coming on to do something that they weren't able to do. There was a lovely kind of warmth to that.
Yeah,
so,
and a few other kids. I mean, the bench was almost, apart from Tom Heaton, youngster Tom Heaton making his United debut as well, 16 years after he left the club. It's kind of funny, that one. Ted Mengi played as well, came on at left back, which is definitely not his position, but
made a mistake, but then made a heck of a block to make up for the mistake that he made.
That's right, yeah, and I think the bubble situation did contribute to there being a short bench. So only had 7 on the bench, and you can have a lot more than that in UEFA competition. Right. So, or maybe the COVID situation. I don't know what exactly it was, but yeah, short bench. Anyway, so United are through, top of the group, and we get to find out. I guess it's next week, is it?
I think I heard somebody say Monday.
Monday. Well, you may well know before we do then. People listening to this.
I mean, I know, like, time. I know we're recording this now, but we're not frozen in time.
We're not frozen yet. We're freezing you in amber.
Yeah, that's right. That's what's happening to me.
Genetically replace you in millennia to come.
Seems a long way to go for some very half-baked football opinions.
Hey, will United have won a trophy by the time?
It's a great question.
We'll come to questions later. Anyway, back to Norwich. I say back to Norwich. Is there anything else to say? The penalty. We can talk about the penalty.
Oh.
Because I tweeted earlier in the day, Liverpool and Chelsea both got some, can we call them dubious penalties? Mo Salah going down like the sniper has taken him out. Atomic precision, taking Mo Salah out there.
That was about the 7th massive penalty appeal they'd had, none of which were penalties,
Yeah, I mean, it used to be the old adage at Anfield, wasn't it? Liverpool won pen.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, of course. No football fan of any other club has ever suggested that Manchester United's treatment at Old Trafford might be vaguely beneficial.
Hey, Jurgen Klopp had the rules changed. I know I'm sounding like a paranoid United fan, but on this one occasion, I'm just going to do it a little bit because he complained. Other managers did too, and they changed the bar for what is a penalty. And as a result,
Bruno Fernandes.
United don't get penalties, except they did. And this was, I mean, Ronaldo won it, I'd say. I think there's contact. Ronaldo made sure there was contact.
But so, the thing this made me think of was wrestling, because in wrestling, there's a lot of what looks really dramatic is caused by the person who is, in quotes, receiving the move.
Exactly. It's choreographed
but they're doing, it's not like they're being thrown, they're jumping and making it look like they're being thrown. Like, this was... If that touch on his shoulder was a handshake, it'd be a handshake where you were like, come on, put some, I don't want the little weird dead fish in the handshake. Give me a proper handshake. This was like a very gentle caress on his shoulder, which Ronaldo tilted and slammed back into a flat back bump. Like, this was wrestling
but as we
all
know,
over.
Ronaldo doesn't know much about gentle caresses, does he? Anyway, yes. Ronaldo.
It's my last episode.
It's your last episode, so there's got to be a groan in there somewhere. He made sure he went down, and of course, contact. There's a pull. So
and he scored, obviously,
and he scored obviously because Bruno had one chance of failing after scoring his previous 67 penalties in a row because it's Ronaldo.
Yeah, and he likes goals. And he's very good at doing them. There's one bit in the first half where he created some space for a shot for himself. And has there ever been anyone as good at creating space for a shot for themselves as Ronaldo ever?
He's perfected it.
He's so good at that. It's unbelievable.
Yeah.
And I know, I spend a lot of time not saying nice things about Cristiano Ronaldo for a variety of reasons. But he's really good at football. One of the very, 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 very best ever players, without a doubt.
Yes, and we're getting the sunset here. This is definitely not peak Ronaldo, but no. he reserves himself for the moments, and he finds space for a shot whenever possible, which is frequently, and often they go in.
And I would not have blamed him for being frustrated in that game, because he got himself into some really good positions that Marcus Rashford passed just behind. One small thing, Rangnick's subs kind of bothered me a little bit. It was weird that he took off Sancho, who I thought was quite instrumental in every time United's kind of good play, and the pass before the pass, was often Sancho in this game. And I thought we lost something when he took Sancho off, and given that neither Ronaldo nor Rashford were contributing very much, it seemed like an odd decision. And then once again, he brings Van der Beek on in the 87th, 89th minute. It's just straight, who told, did Ollie, in Ollie's phone call, that infamous 90-minute phone call, was he like, right, listen, Ralph, the one thing I need you to do for me, I need it, man, I need it. I need to see Van der Beek on the bench till the 89th minute and then coming on for no reason.
Yeah, it happened 7 times he's been substituted on in the Premier League this season. He's only played 75 minutes. So, I mean, he's had a couple of full games elsewhere and stuff like that. I mean, I can't say he's ever done anything to particularly impress anybody in those games. It's such an odd purchase, use of him all around, because he's clearly a much better player than we've been able to see. But I don't see the path forward for him in Rangnick's system. Really, is he going to play as one of the double tens? I mean, I guess he could. But.
Yeah, I mean the thing about Rangnick's starting 11s is that they've kind of looked like Solskjaer starting 11s for the most part, right? They. I mean, except for the fullbacks, who he really has fully gone totally the opposite.
Yes,
I mean,
but
I don't know if Shaw's available.
Shaw wasn't available because of concussion protocol, and then he was on the bench for this one.
Right.
So, along with your man Phil Jones.
Yeah, who, behind the scenes, is apparently oppressed, Ralph Rangnick. So, there we go. I mean, I can't believe I was about to make a Phil Jones joke, and I'm not going to, because they're cheap and bad.
They're cheap and bad, and we now know his best position. It's in Ralph Rangnick's squad, apparently.
Yeah, clearly.
Anyway.
Is that a segue into Twitter questions?
Yeah, maybe it does. United up to 5th, point behind
nice.
after West Ham's draw today, Sunday. Point behind West Ham. I mean, the top 3 are miles out in front. City on 38,
Well,
Liverpool 37, Chelsea 36. So it's everyone's chasing 4th now, basically.
Chelsea scrambled to beat Leeds at home and just lost to West Ham, and he keeps putting Lukaku on the bench and only bringing him on with like 10 minutes left, which is a very weird fitness management program if it's to get him back fit. It seems like I don't really understand what he's trying to do. Is he's fit enough to play 10 minutes, so you might as well have him on the bench in case you need a goal with 10 minutes to go.
I don't understand that either. But yes, it is because I mean, we'll talk more in the backers content about Chelsea Leeds, but that was good fun, that one. So anyway, yeah, up to 5th, and then there's round of games in midweek. United play Brentford in midweek, and then Brighton next weekend, I think.
Brentford, that's a worry. That is a worrying fixture.
They scored a couple of late goals to beat Watford at the weekend, including a 95th minute penalty.
Yeah, the latest goal in the Premier League since September 2020. I was like, oh my goodness, that Harry Maguire 90 plus 10 versus Brighton is a long time ago. One of the great Premier League goals of all time, that, because the game had the full-time whistle was blown before the goal was given, that is a good vibes.
Good vibes, yeah. So anyway, I mean, look, 6 unbeaten for United now, 3 under Rangnick and 3 under Carrick. So
that's very good, isn't it?
That's pretty good. I
mean, this was neither performance this week was particularly impressive or exciting, but
no, I mean, young boy's very disjointed. You know, what a surprise!
Team, yeah,
scratch 11, and then this one, just not quite there. I mean, I suppose like in an attacking, like in a defensive sense, Norwich had a few opportunities and Dave had to make some saves, but they were mostly low XG chances, but yeah, true. It does feel like some of the chaos has been removed. At least there's some organisation. And then up front, they've just got to find the right balance. This sort of double pivot, 2 number 10s and then 2 up front. You know, they're trying to find the right balance there, I think. It doesn't create any width. The fullbacks are supposed to do that, and you know, they are at least 3 attacking fullbacks at the club. But they need to get legs around Ronaldo to get the best out of him if he's going to play every week. And so, it'll take a bit of time. But
yeah, I mean, one of the things that'd be interesting, it would be to see Cavani and Ronaldo up front and Rashford in one of the inverted commas 10s positions. I think that'd be like Rashford for Sancho would be an interesting one. Although, I mean, I think this is a great position for Sancho, and I think him knitting stuff together is really effective. It's interesting because him and Bruno are so kind of parallel opposite in terms of their first instinct on the ball, you know? I mean, Jadon Sancho will always he does want to try stuff, but he also wants to keep things ticking over, keep things knitted together, which is the absolute opposite of Fernandes, who it is what is the most exciting thing I could do now, every time. And, long may it continue, because you need some excitement from somewhere.
All right. So that's that. Shall we get on some questions?
Yeah, sure.
I was going to say questions, and because we have done questions, I thought, well, it's your last episode, at least, as a full-time podcaster. We'll get you back on at some point next year, maybe.
Yeah, man. Yeah,
we'll see. We'll see. We'll see. When you
imagine it. I mean, that's going to be never, Red. So let's not make that be the bar for entry.
Anyway, we had a lot of questions. We're definitely not going to get to all of them, so sorry, folks. So a few people said some nice things, so we'll get that out of the way. Soft. Yeah.
Ed can't handle this. I'm really going to enjoy watching you have to deal with this. That's good. This is where you really wish I was in charge of the Twitter, isn't it?
Yeah, that's right. This is a podcast, so, everyone who sent GIFs and memes and stuff like that, not going to work. Friend of the show, Tarek Amir, says, big hugs to Paul and big thank you for all the pods over the years. Would you consider Jose Mourinho Schadenfreude a cameo?
Yes.
Probably will.
Consider that question asked and answered. Yes, I would.
Another friend of the show, Denny, says, hugs to Paul and looking forward to the new episode and his guest appearances in the future. What are his top 3 most vivid memories, good or bad, from doing the podcast over the years?
Great question. I suppose the most unbelievable thing that happened because of doing the podcast was ending up sat opposite Van Gaal and Mourinho in a press room, being like, how has this, record scratch? You're probably wondering, how did I get here? Like that's like on a personal level the most extraordinary thing that happened. And just then, all right, this is one of my favourite podcast related stories. So me and Ed, we didn't get to go to too many games together when doing the show for a variety of reasons, but we went to one and we were stood outside. I don't think I've ever told this story. It makes me sound like a right big Ed, but I promise I'm not. But we were stood outside Old Trafford, and there was some people taking a photo with a banner that said Oklahoma City Reds, and I kind of did a nod towards them and whispered to Ed, I wonder how many of them listen to the show. And I just want to be absolutely clear at this point, I was joking. Like, I was not legitimately making the assumption that these people listen to the show. But then somebody from that group kindly came over and asked if I was me, and I said, hey, not only am I Paul, he's Ed, because your face is a lot harder to find than mine. So that was a lovely moment.
You've been watching the Beatles documentary, haven't you? And it's got the whole bit about the controversy when John Lennon claimed the Beatles were bigger than Jesus, or etc. and so on. Yeah.
You saying I'm saying we're bigger than Eric?
Never.
But yeah, that was a super cool moment. And then I mean, some of the people I've got to talk to has been really good fun. Some of the interviews and things, and just meeting listeners, especially meeting listeners at games, and they're really nice. One of the thing I will remember the most in terms of interaction with the audience will be just the volume of kindness that has come our way. Like in an age where, there is so much negative content and so much kind of like, so people's first instinct is to kind of criticize and attack online. I mean, not that we haven't had some of that, but it's a substantial minority. If you look at every message I've ever received, the vast majority of them have been nice about the show, and
almost universally. The funny thing is, we've had the odd review on Apple podcasts over the years, which has been a bit funny. But it doesn't matter what people say. Just hit 5 stars, folks, and then call us nonces. It's fine. It makes no difference. Just hit the 5 stars.
Yeah, right.
Nick asked something similar, favourite pod moment in an episode, and he says, do you not fancy hanging on a bit so your last episode isn't discussing a game that's awful? Yep.
I mean, the thing is, you really, at this point, would be just constantly, like, every week, like me, 75 years old, like, crying, grey hair, like, please, one crumb of good game so I can leave. Could be waiting a long time. I'm not sure Brentford in midweek, then Brighton. 2 teams where I feel like they're both vaguely functional.
Hey, we're more hipster than they are now. Fact.
Yeah, true.
We bought our hipster credentials. Morton Mabrenna says, not question per se, but where do we find the secret underground pod where Paul goes to town on Jose on a weekly basis?
I'm in patreon.com/NQAT, but you're too late now. Like, the NQAT pod has been happening, especially when he was at Tottenham. Now it's just occasional, but it does happen.
Gia Rudolph says, all right, Gia Rudolph. I think that's Gia Rudolph. Anyway, seeing as we're about to be missing half our squad because of COVID, what positions do you and Paul fancy playing yourselves in?
That would be real bad. That's one of the great ironies of talking about how incredibly talented professional footballers have made a slightly inaccurate pass whilst, running at 35 miles an hour and under the pressure of tens of thousands of people watching them and the expectation of millions around the world. Like, I could barely play a pass 4 yards in my corridor.
Yeah.
You were a decent goalkeeper as a kid, though.
I mean, it's all relative, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
I'm not sure I'd fancy my chances in goal in the Premier League.
No, I mean, at the age of not having played professional football up to the Premier League level, yet.
Illy says, thanks for the many great years, Paul. All the best. Hearts.
Thanks, Illy.
Daniel says, what is Phil Jones's best position? And thanks, Paul, for all the pods and the insight over the years. I think that's an ironic question there. Do
you mean the insight part's ironic or what's Phil Jones's best position?
Whichever one you want to take.
Actually, you could definitely look back at some of the answers to the question of what's Phil Jones's best position and argue that there has not been the necessary insight shown.
That's true. Andy McCoy says, best wishes, Paul. Please discuss a scintillating performance where your player scored, and then for backers content, can you discuss England's rampant victory in the Ashes?
This is bad times.
No cricket discussion. James Bonser says, not a question, just want to say thanks to Paul for all the great content. I'll miss him and look forward to hearing what you do next with the show.
Stay in touch, brother.
What's the point? Says, thank you, Paul. Comes across as a truly genuine and wonderful human being. I mean, it's a podcast, folks, so you just don't know.
Thanks, Ed. Thank you very much. That's a very kind thing to say. And also, you made Ed say it out loud, and he had to undercut it because it's in his contract that as a man of a certain age from a certain generation, he had to undercut it. But he read it out loud, which
I did. It's a podcast, good. So you can't see my eyes rolling. What's the audio version of the emoji? Nick Mahan says, thanks for all these years on the pod, Paul. Good luck.
Thank you.
Rankcast Ultra says, what is Paul's best position? Missionary. Backward cowgirl. What? No.
It's retired.
Retired.
Yeah, I think that's it. And by the way, shout out to Rankcast Ultra for creating a Twitter account called Rankcast Ultra. It's the coolest thing. And the thing is, you hear that and you're like, is he going to be parked up outside our houses? We're going to go around to his house and there's loads of pictures of us on the walls. But no, he's super sound and a really nice guy. So thanks at OG Rantcast.
Jack Cullis says, Paul's coming back for the title-winning episode in 20 years.
Yeah, man, I'll be here.
Martial FC says, will Paul be going to whichever pod covers Martial's new team, asking for a friend? Will you be doing a Newcastle pod then? Well, how's your Geordie accent these days?
It's not bad. Like, I can say Shola Amiobi, like the best of them. And the conjunctivitis, which are the two. That's how you get into a Geordie. It's like, hi now, Brian Cow. If you want to do Northern Irish, you do Shola Amiobi for a Geordie accent.
Dan Oliver says, effing hell, end of an era, etc. Hope he's all right.
Oh yeah, man!
Like, he's not dying. I don't think.
No, everything is super cool. This is just 11 and a half years of doing this podcast and my working life getting to the point where this is starting to be a problem to fit watching games in and giving it justice. And I really don't like coming on the show and being like, oh, I didn't watch this game, because then honestly, like, that's a disservice to the audience as much as anything else.
Pete says, would you choose to fight 100 duck-sized Mourinhos or one Jose Mourinho-sized duck? Big love to Paul, without doubt my favourite podcast.
You see, the thing about 100 duck-sized horses, right, is they're not smart. They've got horse-level intelligence. 100 duck-sized Mourinhos, they could stand on each other's shoulders, create weaponry. Like, you could definitely get loads of little tiny sharpened stones stabbed into your leg, and that'd be a real problem. And a Jose Mourinho-sized duck is smaller than a horse-sized duck, so I think the advantage swings too far to the small Mourinhos in that case. And I wouldn't want to fight a Jose Mourinho-sized duck, or any duck of any size, even a small one. But that's what I'm choosing.
Hans Inga says, who would you rather drive across country with, David Moyes or Jose Mourinho?
I mean, that is such an easy question. Like, It's David Moyes. Easily. I think like a couple of hours with David Moyes would be fine. A couple of hours with Mourinho, bloody hell, would be... I mean, actually, you know what? A couple of hours with Mourinho would be fine too. He'd be perfectly charming company, I'm sure. And I could spend the entire time badgering him about why he makes such relentlessly capitalist life choices.
Gear Rudolph. Oh, second question, Gear Rudolph. Approximately how many times a day do you use the term ad nauseum? Yeah, good gag. Yeah. All the time.
I don't think Is that something I say a lot on the show?
No, I don't think so. Maybe it is.
Right. Maybe I do. Maybe I say it ad nauseum.
Oh, God, there's a lot of people saying... You used to love the old Rancast jingle, says Hanny McClatchy. If you had to re-record it based on this team, what would the lyrics be?
Well, now football is a tiresome game, played in the sun, played in the rain. The team that once every 3 games for about 20 minutes gets me excited is Manchester United.
You cynic. Lots and lots of best wishes, more best wishes.
I'd like to thank everyone, both for the incredible kindness, like genuinely, like to be
there's
sincere
a lot.
for a second.
I'm being cynical, but there's a lot, yes.
It's incredibly heartening. And I've had some emails. When I first put the thing up, I got a bunch of messages on Instagram. I haven't been on our Instagram for a long time, so I don't know if there's more there, but it's incredibly heartwarming and touching and like it's quite something, to feel like you've been appreciated for doing something that's been fun and that it's meant something to people. It's a really big deal. Also, it's really funny to watch Ed be super uncomfortable saying nice things.
I'm not uncomfortable. John Gale says, all the best to Paul. And it was great meeting you both when we had the Rantcast meetup. Yeah, we promised more meetups and never really did it. So
hey, but listen, if you do them in the future, it's not like I can't come to them.
No, right. Yes. Maybe I'll organise it when I'm back in the country. When the global plague has finished and we can do that kind of thing. Darren Richmond says, not a question, just a heartfelt thanks for all the years of enjoyment.
Thank you, brother. One of the great joys of doing this podcast is making people... I mean, that's I guess, the real answer to the question of what have been the best moments. It's all like there are loads of people in my life who I would consider to be really good friends who I met through doing this show and through the subsequent kind of Twitter and stuff. And Darren is definitely on that list as well. He knows.
D. Milito says, can you do a pod without politics? Well, we can, but, our Christmas parties are just jam full of political content.
It's like, what does that mean? Well, when people say that, they don't generally, and this isn't personal to the person that asked the question, but people generally don't mean, can you do a podcast without politics? They mean, can you do a podcast without saying anything I don't like? About the world, about society, about whatever. Like, if we'd done this show for the last 11 years and not talked about social issues, how mad would you have to be to do this show where we trying to like set football in context and set the events on the pitch in terms of a football context, but where politics has kind of brought itself to bear so consistently? I mean, even right now, Ranić's appointment was affected by politics in some way, and it's everywhere. So I don't know why people... Listen, in the content that I consume, I'm actually not looking for a lot of kind of social commentary and these kinds of things. So I understand why people want pure escapism. One of the things that's happening in cricket, there's been this absolutely horrific stories emerging about the levels of racism not very long ago at all, probably not long ago as in like weeks. But, hearing the coverage of that's been brutal, but you can't ignore these things. And especially in football, where the footballers have been asking us not to ignore these things, asking our attentions to be drawn to, using their platform to draw our attentions to these things. We're going to respond in kind. It's the least we can do. So
Well, there's social commentary, and then there's also football is a global game, and geopolitics come into it. Otherwise, why do you have PSG and Manchester City and Newcastle, and why is the World Cup in Qatar next year? So, unfortunately, can't divorce the two. And I know not all people love that. And on our theme, last question: is it true that you're leaving because the NQAT team had numerous parties when everyone was in lockdown, and is Ed throwing you under the bus to save himself? You've caught us. You've caught us. Someday Tom will leak the audio where we're having a good chuckle about our NQAT Christmas party.
I don't know many people that have been more COVID compliant than you, Ed. So I think that's very quite something. Jesus Christ, what a bunch of absolute scumbags, eh? Like absolute subhuman scum, this Tory party. Like, you want a podcast free of politics, you come to the wrong place, pal. If you voted for these, no, obviously, if you were duped into voting for these, or if you've never thought about it because your family's voted them for generations, look at them. I'm not saying the other lot are great, far, far from it, but my God above, this country's being governed by the absolute worst people in it.
Yep, you get what you vote for, folks.
Yep, absolutely.
Anyway, I guess that's it for questions. Thanks for all the heartfelt best wishes. It's been a pleasure doing 523 episodes with you. We're going to preview Brentford and Brighton and do some predictions, and then we'll do the backers content before you're allowed to go. It's in your contract.
Right. Sounds good to me. Listen, you know this very well. Easily the best thing about the existence of this podcast is that me and you got to talk every week for 11 and a half years. And, me and Ed met when I was 2 and he was 3. And we've been separated by continents multiple times in our lives now, it turns out.
Yes.
And both of us in different directions, and we've lived in different cities and all of these kinds of things. But ultimately, the absolute fact of it is, and this is not an exaggeration, you are by far the closest thing I have to a brother in the world. So, we grew up together, and to be able to do this and, muck about and talk about football, but also talk about serious stuff. Like I think I said the other week, almost every single nice message I've received also said nice things about you, or nice things about our relationship, or whatever.
Almost.
And,
almost.
Yeah, I mean, a couple of them were just for me, man. None of them said nasty things about you.
Unbelievable. You're taking my glory here.
Sorry.
Yes. So before we move on, I mean, there will be the plan is to continue the pod. There'll be some guests on a rotating basis, or
any announcements, any transfer announcements? Have we got people holding NQAT scarves above their head with your arm around them, grinning?
Yeah. Well, I mean, there's no, we're not going to do it like that. I mean, what I didn't want to do is I didn't want to kind of bring on comparisons with the past. So we've got a few people who are kind of you'll recognise at least 2 of them. So Wayne Barton, who writes all the books, is going to do some pods, as is Dan Harris, who's Guardian, ESPN, Off the Ball pod, excellent United Rewind pod, and then Tom Mortimer, who does the Hungarian football podcast, have all agreed to join. We'll see what time brings, and we're all being very flexible about it. Plus, it's we get a few people; they won't all be compared to you, and unfavourably, in your case, that is.
Of course.
3 excellent. Anyway, I'm looking forward to it. There'll be very, very different people, and there'll be diverse opinions. And, hopefully, as you have done over the years, you'll hold me to account when I have some crappy opinion about football or the world generally.
I'm super excited as somebody who would just be a fan of... This was the idea. This 11 and a half years ago, when I was like, I said you should have a podcast, not we should have a podcast. And then accidentally this happened. So this was always what I wanted, was for you to have a podcast about United that I could listen to.
See, this is what happens. You come in on a temporary basis, you have a good run for a few weeks. You're promoted above your station,
and it just slowly gets worse over years.
Exactly. I just, if only I had if only there was real, genuine professional podcast knowledge in this podcast, we might have solved this problem years ago.
You're kind of bringing some in, like you're bringing some actual proper professional podcast experience in. And yeah, I mean, they're all people that I love listening to talk about United, so it's going to be super fun. And you know, I hope that the opportunity exists to kind of expand that and, you know, bring in different voices and you know, voices from different cultural backgrounds and these kinds of things, because I think that could be like incredible for the show. So I mean, like, you know, I'll be back to do some guest appearances eventually. Probably not this season, I have to say, because I mean, I've already run out of things to say about this season. So, you know, give me six months
we'll see.
off.
We'll see when the Champions League final comes around and you're like, you know, I'm available. We'll see.
All right, yeah. I'll do some... if we win the Champions League, I'll come back and talk about it. We'll send you a WhatsApp voice note and you can put that on the show.
Only pro quality audio here, thanks.
Right, sorry, okay.
Yeah. we did try that for a while, didn't we? People could send voice notes in. It wasn't very successful.
Well, it's always been this thing where it never really works when podcasts do that. There's a lot of podcasts that do that, and some people really like getting on the show, but it's not generally a very effective way of communicating back and forth with an audience, I don't think.
No.
One thing I wanted to say as well is just like a massive, massive, massive shout out to Tom, because like without Tom, this show would have. There's no way we'd have made it this far. Now you could probably do the show using, you know, the technology that exists and these kinds of things without it being a total nightmare. But, you know, anyone that's listened from the beginning could almost hear the day Tom arrives.
Yes.
Because the show became a completely different thing. And a lot of the kind of growth in popularity and numbers and stuff coincided with Tom coming in and putting incredible work. And, like, it is absolutely ridiculous that this podcast is produced by someone with his skills and talents. Like this guy, when we're in the chatting and he's like saying, "Oh yeah, I'm going to be a bit late doing the podcast because I've got to do X piece of work. I never done raise a chuckle." Like, how are you doing that and also this? It's a ridiculous thing. So
because he does a wide variety of stuff, and sometimes he wants to work on some quality content. That's why.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, big love to Tom.
No, thank you for all your efforts over the years, Tom. And we'll see. I mean, you're right. The tools are there now, so maybe I'll allow Tom to retire too, because he's definitely got more important stuff to do.
Yeah, and he's had the hardest job on this podcast for a long time.
That's right.
Yeah. So before I say goodbye, let's talk about other games.
Yes, there's a midweek game against Brentford.
Yeah,
who were interesting in beating Watford yesterday. I'd say Ivan Toney has been out, so I don't know whether he's still going to be out. He got COVID, so I'm not sure whether the protocol runs out by the time that game comes around. United have a whole bunch of COVID cases. Apparently, I don't think I've seen anywhere with names, but it's both staff and players.
Right. So I wonder if this game will end up not happening then, given that the Tottenham game was postponed.
Yeah, it's interesting because the Tottenham Premier League game was postponed because the Premier League has taken a kind of relaxed game by game attitude towards this. UEFA have not. UEFA have said rules is rules. So Tottenham cancelled their game against Rennes, and UEFA have said no, it should have been played. So. It looks like they're not going to reschedule that one, and it'll be awarded to Rennes as a result. So,
yeah.
But the Premier League, I think they take petitions basically. So we'll see. It's still scheduled for Tuesday night at Brentford at their new game.
40 minutes ago, Guardian saying that the game's in doubt. The Brentford game is in doubt. So at this point, I'd say, like, if you're asking for a prediction for that game, is that there is no game. That would be my prediction.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, look, aside from COVID cases, United's injury list is Wan-Bissaka, Martial, Cavani, Mata, Matic, Pogba, Varane, and Lindelof. So
pretty serious.
It's pretty serious, and none of that, I don't think, is Ralph Ragnick-induced pressing muscle injuries. They're to come, folks. So.
Martial's off. He said he wants to leave in January. His agent said he wants to leave in January. Can't blame him at all for wanting to leave in January. A very funny United career, and a player who's divided United fans' opinions tremendously, but one who, for whatever else you want to say about him in this time, he's given me moments of absolute joy watching United in the last since he arrived. I'll remember him fondly when he's gone. That's for sure.
Well, yeah, I mean, quite a lot of this list might not last much longer. So there is talk again of Edinson Cavani being wanted around various clubs in Europe. Who knows whether
Can't
United
see him staying again.
No, I mean, like even in January, but I mean, he's had this tendon injury for a while now and missed most of this season, as he missed a lot of last season. And when Matt's out of contract at the end of the season, so he'll be off. Amazingly, Nemanja Matic still has a year left on his contract. Played at centre-half against Young Boys. Maybe don't give up the day job there.
Well, I mean, unless you want to give up the day job to do something else altogether, which would be all right,
And Paul Pogba's still out. I mean, he's coming back this week. He's been in Dubai recuperating, coming back this week, apparently, to continue that at Carrington. And that will apparently be the policy from now on. You're injured, you are where we can see you, not off around the world.
Right.
And I don't know how much difference it makes, but, the optics aren't always great when an injured player rocks up in Miami in a poolside party.
No, absolutely not.
So there's that. We'll see. I mean, what to say about Brentford? I mean, they needed the win yesterday.
They've been amazing.
They've been amazing for where they come from. And if you look at their squad, it's mostly Championship players that they've cobbled together. We know their model. It's very data-driven. Thomas Frank's side is, high pressing, high energy. That's how he wants his teams to play, and most of the time they do play like that. So they're comfortably above the relegation zone at the moment, in 10th place on 20 points. That's 9 points ahead of Burnley. You'd think already that's probably going to be enough for them to stay up. I mean, I'm sure teams have been relegated with a better cushion at the Christmas period, but it can't have been many. So yeah, they've done really well. They've got a great new stadium. They are set up to, having built the club in the right way, they are set up to succeed from here on in.
Yeah, absolutely. And they're currently doing brilliantly and underperforming their data, right? They are like 6 points off their expected points, which is, a huge chunk. As I've said a lot of times, expected points is a weird metric, but you certainly can't say that they're kind of punching above the weight of their performances with their results. This stuff looks very sustainable. They look well run. They've got really good players. That data-driven thing has worked, and Thomas Franks clearly knows what he's doing. And actually, this is going to be an interesting clash of styles in this game too. Not that United really have a Rangnick style yet. They still kind of have a kind of, let's just drop a jelly from not a jelly, like an angel delight from like a really big height, and it lands on a pitch, and wherever anyone ends up, that's where they get to stand.
Probably looks like our heat map, to be honest. But
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
No, that's right. And Frank's team, well drilled, and therefore with a bunch of sort of no-name players, basically are managing to keep their heads well above water. So yeah, it should be. Look, if it goes ahead, looking forward to it, because I think it'll be great atmosphere, and it'll be a real test of where United are right at. Another real test will be Brighton, which I believe is next. Sorry, I'm just losing the run. Saturday. There we go. Brighton, 4:30 a.m. start for me. My own fault. So midday. Yeah, 12:30 kickoff for everyone who's, actually in the UK, sensible people there. And at Old Trafford. And again, this is Graham Potter's Brighton, who underperformed their XG all the way through last season and now are not doing that, and now are just a good side that can't score as many goals as they really should do.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that... Oh, no. It turns out that normal service has been resumed and Brighton have scored... let's have a quick check on this. They've scored 14 goals off a 18.2 XG overall. So, yeah, they are successfully underperforming their XG, as is their want, but they are nonetheless 11th in the table. So it's funny, United are playing 10th and 11th in the table, and you'd think, like, great, that sounds like games that United should win. And in the end, like, United are 5th, right? They've got a lot more points than either Brentford or Brighton, but I'm worried about both of these games. I don't know whether that's reasonable and if it's just kind of scar tissue or whatever.
Yeah.
And maybe in some ways these games will give some of our attacking players a bit more space than a game like Norwich did.
That should be the case. I mean, certainly against Brentford, who push high up, that you'd think there'd be counter-pressing and counter-attacking opportunities. For United, Brighton a little different because, they do try and pass the ball across every blade of the pitch before trying to walk it into the goal, and it doesn't quite happen. I mean, Neil Maupay, he's had a decent season, I think. Their top goal scorer, but only on 6. So, and no one else has scored more than 3, which shows you where their problems are. You'd even though they do keep the ball nicely, you'd still expect United to dominate that one. So, anyway, before you go, then, Paul. Backers content to come. 2 predictions. Because no one can hold you to account now, so you might as well just go wild and crazy.
I actually genuinely, legitimately think Brentford will win that game. I think they've been really good at home in particular. I think they play with tons and tons of energy. They're not going to be overawed at all by the name Manchester United. Like they gave Liverpool a hell of a game, and Liverpool are a much better side than us at the moment. So I actually think we are. I don't know what the bookies would say, but I don't think we are significant favourites for that game in my head whatsoever. So I'm going to say like a 2-1 Brentford win. Maybe we'll fight really hard late and get a late equaliser or whatever. But I think it's going to be a really difficult game. And then Brighton, I think, will maybe beat them 1-0, maybe.
Yeah, all right. Well, I'm going to go for a draw in Brentford because it does feel like that kind of game. And then a 2-0 victory over Brighton.
Yeah.
2 different styles of team, but they may cause different kinds of problems for United, and it'll be good, good test of where Rangnick's at with his team. I
also predict I won't watch either of these games. Because I'm having a break.
You don't have to talk about it now.
I might watch the Brighton game though. It's on a nice, convenient time, like Saturday lunchtime.
Feet up,
lovely.
Yeah, feet up.
If it's bad, I'm just going to turn it off.
Yeah. So Brighton have got the 4th most average passes, successful passes in the Premier League, behind City, Liverpool, and Chelsea. So that says something about their style, I guess.
Yeah, absolutely.
All righty.
Right. Hey, so before I go, just a massive thank you to everyone that's listened, especially to the people who have been listening for, a really, really long time and have listened to like hundreds of episodes of this, of which there are a decent number of people. A massive thank you to everyone that's ever taken the time to say anything nice about the show. And, the truth is a lot of people have said nice things about the way I come across on the show, and I very sincerely hope that the people that have met me in real life would probably find that this is me. I'm not really putting on a show. This is sort of me. I think it would be hard over 520 odd episodes to pretend to be someone else, and I'm just going to say the thing that is in my heart, which is that the world is desperately short of kindness. There's so many things going. We talk about politics a lot on this show. To me, the absolute key ingredient that the world is missing is selflessness, kindness, compassion. These are the things that are the absence of which has caused almost all the problems that the world is facing in one way or another. So if you care at all about these things and you have the chance, these small acts of kindness make an absolutely enormous difference to the world. So yeah, that's my last thing that I'm going to say, apart from on the backers content, I'm just going to slag off Jose Mourinho for 20 minutes.
Yes, exactly. Kindness. Be kind. Head to patreon.com/NQ18pod.
But yeah, and Ed, I love you. So thanks, man. It's been good.
It's been fun. We may talk about football, just off air. Then you can say what you really feel.
Yeah, absolutely. I imagine we will continue to talk about both football and other things off air. Because turns out this is not the extent of our relationship. We don't literally have to record every conversation we ever have. Although at this point, it'd be interesting to know of the percentage of conversations that we've ever had in our lives, what percentage of them have been recorded and broadcast. It's got to be like 20 to 30% of the conversations we've ever had at this point.
Yeah,
right?
A fair number. Yeah. Okay, well, we'll correct that percentage over the next few years.
Yeah, man.
I imagine. All righty, well, thank you for 11 years of doing this, 523 episodes. I think maybe you weren't on one of them or two of them.
That's right, one.
One.
Yeah, one episode.
One episode. There's one episode floating out there that never got published.
That's right. Not because of any bad content. Just Ed was really busy that week.
Yep. And we didn't have Tom around that time. And maybe one that I did with a guest.
Yeah.
That you weren't on. Yeah. So there we go. We're going to try that out again.
Yeah, I can't wait.
No, it'll be good.
And I think everyone's going to really enjoy what comes next. If you want to stay in touch with me, you can. I've deleted all my social media except for my Instagram account, which can't be that long for this world. But for now, it exists at Peaceful Paul, where you can follow me if you like pictures of nature, which is basically all I put up there, and stories mostly about cricket.
Pictures of nature, not naturist pictures. Let's be very clear about this.
To be very clear, we're talking about trees and skies and that. People have got my email address. It's out there. Stay in touch and also, in all sincerity, lots of people have asked me questions about therapy. So if anyone wants any advice or guidance about that sort of thing, please don't hesitate to get in touch, because I'm always happy to help.
All righty.
Brill, Patreon back and stay tuned. Everyone else, I'll see you whenever. See you down the road.
All righty, and I'll see everyone else next week.
Yes.
Now football is a pleasant game, played in the sun, played in the rain, and the team that gets me excited, Manchester United, Manchester United, a bunch of bouncing Busby babes, they deserve to be knighted. If ever they're playing in your town, you must get to that football ground, take a lesson, come to see football taught by Matt Busby and Manchester United, a bunch of bouncing Busby babes, they deserve to be knighted. They are the greatest team today. If you don't believe me, go and see them play. A type of football second to none. Now they're at the top of Division 1. Manchester United, a bunch of bouncing Busby babes, they deserve to be knighted. If ever they're playing in your town, get yourself to that football ground, take a lesson, come to see Wizardry by Matt Busby and Manchester United, a bunch of bouncing Busby babes, they deserve to be knighted. It's the greatest thrill you've ever seen. They are known as the soccer machine. They are the best, there is no doubt. So raise a chair and give a shout for Manchester United, a bunch of bouncing Busby babes, they deserve to be knighted. If ever they're playing in your town, get yourself to that football ground, take a lesson, come to see Wizardry by Matt Busby and Manchester United, a bunch of bouncing Busby babes, they deserve to be knighted. They are the Busby babes from Lancashire, known as Manchester United, Manchester United, Manchester United, Manchester United, United.
podcast is part of the Sports Social Podcast Network.